Okay, so I have this another easy caddis problem. I think it's pronounced Heimavinna. It's Icelandic, but anyway, it's pretty simple. Um, this is like somebody's homework, the problems that they have to solve, and just like you might see on a blackboard, if there are two numbers separated by a dash, then you need to do all the numbers within that. And if there's a semicolon, then it's just one number. And then at the end, you have to output the total number of problems that they have to solve. And the formatting is consistent, so that's one simple thing. But the only constraint is that there is a maximum of 1,000 problems. So I don't know if there's like some kind of fancy solution to this, but I'm going to do something super simple. And I'm just going to not use any extra data structures. I'm just going to parse the whole line as a string, look for the dashes and the semicolons, and I think I'm going to keep two integers, one to track the index of the string, and one to count the number of problems, which will be output at the end. So as you can see, I have everything set up, just the class and the main method and the scanner object for input, and I'm going to make a string. Yeah, I guess I should do. Oh, yeah, scan uh, next, yeah, because there are no spaces. And then I should say, no. Okay, so I'm gonna do a while loop because the idea is to skip over certain characters once you find them. So I'm gonna say while um, index is less than or no, is less than string length. If string char at index equals uh yeah, we want to get the number. I guess we should do index plus one equals semicolon. Then we would move on two indices and we would add one to the count. So it'd be count plus plus. And then, yeah. Yeah, I guess the question is, okay, so if it is a semicolon, then we just do count plus plus. If the next character is a semicolon, we do count plus plus. If the next, and then we would move the index to index plus equals two, right? Because say for this one, we're at zero and the next character is a semicolon, so we want to add one to the count, and then we want to move to index two. So yeah, index plus equals two. And then else if char at index plus one equals if it's a dash, then what we're gonna want to do is count plus equals the difference between the current character and then two above that plus one because, for example, three minus one is two, but we want to add three. So, okay, count plus equals char at index, well, yeah, string char at index plus 2 minus string char at index plus 1. This seems really convoluted, but I don't know if there is a better way. I am still a beginner at problem solving. I'm not going to lie about that. Okay, so yeah, this is 0. We've got index plus 2 is going to be 3 minus 1 plus 1 is 3. Okay, and then index is going to be index plus equals. For this one, we want to jump from 0 all the way up to 4. 2 through 4. So now we do plus equals 4. And yeah, I guess this is good as long as index is less than the length of the string, then we're going to keep going. Um, so we have updated count and index the entire time, and then we're going to system out print count. So I'm going to test this out, but I usually don't succeed on my first try, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, compile error. Oh, okay, so looks like I did something wrong. Oh, of course, forgot to do that. Count equals 0 and index equals 0. Okay, failing all the test cases. Let's see what some of these. Okay, time limit exceeded, so it's actually maybe some kind of infinite loop going on here. Uh, right, so the problem here might be that neither one of these is being activated. So while index is less than, okay, if char at index plus 1 equals semicolon, or if it equals a dash, and for some reason that's not always going to be the case, maybe. But it seems like so okay, I'm gonna walk myself through it here. So for example, for this one, index starts at 0, so we're starting here at 1, this one, and it says if the next character at 1 is a semicolon or a dash, so in this case it's a dash, so we're going to be down here. Then to the count, we're going to add the character at index plus 2 and the character at index plus 1. So 2 plus 1, that was no, the character at the index. So index is still 0 at this point. So then we're going to add the character at 2 and the character at 0, which is 3 and 1. So we've added 4. Wait, minus. Okay, yeah, of course. So 3 minus 1 plus 1, which is 3. And so then the count should be 3, and then index plus equals 4. So we've gone from 0 to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we should be at this number 5. And then we should be, okay, so index is still less than the length of the string. So we should be here at number 5, and then we check the next character. Index plus 1 is a semicolon. Well, I do wonder if this is the right character, though. Let me just see if that fixes anything. Okay, it does not. So I'm going to go back. That would have been too easy. Okay, so yeah, let's see. So the character at index plus one is semicolon now. So we're going to increase the count by one for this problem. And then we're going to increase the index by two. So the current index is four. And we're going to increase it by two. So it's going to be six. So it should be here. Um, yeah, I'm wondering if something happens when we get to the end because so let's say we're at 10 now. Index is string like the length of string minus three. And now we're checking, okay, so the next character is a dash. So we're going to increase the count by uh the last character of the string, which is index plus two, minus the character at the current index plus one. So then it's uh yeah, 13 minus 10 plus one. So it's four. And then we're going to add four to the index, which brings us to the end. So we should be finished. But somehow that is not working. So I'm going to take a break and yeah, see what happens. Okay, so I think I have an idea that I'm going to try out. I had to think about it for a few minutes. I think the issue is probably when it gets to the end here because we've gone here. Um, so if we say for this one, it's either going to be if there's two more characters. Uh, so if the next character is a semicolon or if index equals uh string dot length minus one, I think I'm gonna say, because that would mean that it's the last character and there's not going to be a semicolon after, but we still need to add one. Still not working? Okay. Yeah, okay. Still time limit exceeded for all of the test cases. So let's see. Yeah, because this is what I'm trying to say. If I'm here, we're testing if the next character is a semicolon, which there is no next character. Um, I would even say like maybe this is some kind of error, but I'm not getting an error. I'm getting some kind of infinite loop. So let's see. Index equals, yeah, right. Like if index, I mean, all right, I'm gonna take another break. Yeah, so obviously I just I was making a really stupid mistake. This solution would work perfectly well if every number was single digit, but because it's not going to be that way, and we could have up to triple digit numbers, and I guess even up to 1,000, um, including 1,000. So we really can't rely on the number of digits, and I'm going to need to come up with a new solution. So because I always do the simplistic solution, and I have a lot of learning to do, I'm going to just do something like int num Uh, and I'm going to use that as like a temporary number. So here, that could be like a string builder though. And then I'm going to convert it to a num. I'm not quite sure. No, I guess I would take, yeah, this is kind of confusing. So what I would want to do is that if I had a two-digit number here, I would want to sort of keep track that the last non-digit character was, say, two numbers ago, and then we would want to get the last two characters and turn them into an integer. I think that sounds really convoluted though. So maybe it should be more like, I mean, it's inefficient, but because the largest number of digits we're gonna have is four, I don't really worry about the inefficiency of like changing the string. So I think I am gonna do that. I think I'm gonna do else um num plus equals the character. Um oh, and this num is a string. This is a little bit confusing, but it's gonna start with nothing. And then we're gonna concatenate the digit characters one at a time. And then I guess every time we do this, we need to reinitialize. I mean, so empty out the num string again. And what it's going to be here is, I guess it actually, no, it doesn't even matter, right? Um, so instead of doing char at, I need to switch this stuff to num, these operations to num. So when we come to when we come to a semicolon, it's still going to be the same. We don't actually have to look at the num string. We can just ignore it because whenever we get to the semicolon, however many digits it was, it's just going to be one more number. So, but the thing is, when it's going to be the dash between the two, that's when we actually need to access those numbers. So, oh, but yeah, the issue is how far do we move up? Oh, for this one, we just do. Yeah, we still move the index up by one. And yeah, the issue is, okay, so if we end up, so say we're over here and we've gotten here correctly. So now we're at whatever this is, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're at we're at index 8 of the string now. And we're gonna see, okay, the next character is a digit still. So these are both gonna be false. We're gonna be in the else clause here. And now the number string is going to contain 1, and then we come back. Um, so we're going to be at 0. We find that the next string is a dash. whether we found out that it's a dash or a hyphen, like say if we're, I mean, a dash or a semicolon, like say that there was a semicolon here, we still want to have, right, for the semicolon, we don't have to worry, like I said before. But we do want to, for the dash, we need to do a subtraction operation, so that's why it's important. So we would just say num plus equals string char at index, and then I actually, yeah, this actually probably would be pretty inefficient if it's going up to 1,000 and there are quite a few different numbers, but we'll see what happens if I can even get a working solution. Let's see. Index plus equals 4. So this is the part that I'm struggling with. So for the count, we still would want to have num. See, now this is the issue too, because we have to see what happens after the hyphen. We don't know if that one is going to be one digit or two or three or even four. So, I mean, in an extreme case, it could just be one thing that says 1 to 1,000, and we have to subtract 1,000 from one. I mean, one, one from 1,000. Um, yeah, so that could be a real issue. I'm going to have another thought moment. Okay, so again, I know this is not going to be the most efficient, but I think I'm going to need the first thing that I can think of to solve this problem is that I'm going to need two strings, num1 and num2. And then, so yeah, like for when there is a dash, we're going to have this be num1 and this be num2. And then if we just have a semicolon, then there's only going to be num1. So when we only had a semicolon, I'm just going to say num1. Num1, yeah, so this is a bit strange. This is the number that would come before a semicolon or before a dash. And then for the number that comes after the dash, I'm just going to put it in here. So, yeah, let's see. I guess at this point I would probably do this. Um, so num1 plus equals, yeah, so we're still getting the last character before the dash here. And then the what we're gonna do is probably do a while loop because we're looking to get to a semicolon. So this is gonna be a very inefficient because I'm gonna have to reuse this exact same code here, but I am not finding the logic where I can avoid it. I know it's there, but I'm not finding it. So what I'm gonna do is while now num2 should be empty because it was either here or there. Well, this is the initialization, and then anytime I've used it, I've updated it in this block of code, I'm always going to put it back to empty string. So yeah, I'm going to say while, um, yeah, now I'm still, so I'm still updating the index, I suppose. I might figure it out, but I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. While the index is, oh no, not the index, but I am going to update the index. That's what I was trying to figure out. So, okay, while does not equal a semicolon and index does not equal string length minus one. So it's like exactly the same as this one. I don't know how to avoid that. Um, so this is how we're gonna just keep updating the number two. Num2, right. So I guess here is where we would say index plus plus. Well, it doesn't matter actually, because what we can do is index plus one, and then num2 plus equals string char at index. Wait, we're doing index plus one because, okay, so we are, so say we are here, we're at the zero here, we have made a number string that's 10. It's a 10 in string form. So it's still gonna have to be made into an integer at some point, but now we found, okay, the next character is a dash. So yeah, so this is the line where we add zero to the string. So now we have a string that says 10, num1, and then we have while, right? Yeah, so we would do index plus plus. We would really do index plus equals two. So that we would skip over the dash and we're at the one here. And now we say while string char at index does not equal semicolon and index does not equal string length minus one. That's, well, no, does not equal. We're going to go up to string length, I guess. And I don't need to say less than because we have plus plus here. So, um, actually, I should say less than. Index is less than string length because I did plus equals two here. So just in case there's any kind of issue with that, there shouldn't be, but just in case. Um, okay, so the character here is not a semicolon. It's less than the length of the string. So this loop is going to execute. So now num2 is empty. The string, it's an empty string. And we're going to add the character at the index. And then we're going to increase the index and check again. So this character is not a semicolon and it's not the length of the string. So we're going to go ahead and add this to the num2 string. And then we're going to increase the index by one. So now we're at the length of the string and the loop is not going to execute. So that should work. Whew, that should work. So now we have num1 and num2, two strings. Um, so what we're going to do instead of this string char at thing, we're going to subtract the actual numbers. Um, I think it's integer value of, but I'm not sure, so I might have to fix that later. Um, num2 And at that point, we've already gotten to the end of the string. And so I think we don't need this anymore. But say that we were here, so we would have, oh yeah, okay, so we were here, we would have gotten here. So I guess we would want to go one more forward. Oh no, we would be on the semicolon. So yeah, we would want to be okay, we would want to be there. So I am still going to increment index so that we would end up, say here, we're checking the next character is a semicolon. So that should be good. I'm just going to see. I don't even know if this is correct for value of. I might have to Google it. Okay, so this is strange because there is no. I am going to Google this real quick and get back to you. Yeah, okay, so that was my bad. This should work. That's if you want to end up with an int object. I, but this is for an int primitive type. I don't know if that was the issue, but I'm gonna try it. Nope, still runtime error. So let's see if it's gonna actually tell us what the runtime error is. Okay, out of bounds. So this is the issue here. Actually, yeah, I have to see. I want to see where that error happened. Okay, line 19. Okay, that one happened in line 11. Let's see. Okay, so this should be fixed if I just switch these around because Java is only going to check the first one. And if the first one is if the first one is true, then it's not going to check the second one. So, um, no, index is greater than or equal to string length minus one. And then I'm just gonna copy this one, I think. Yeah, well, this is kind of different, but it's the same idea. If this one is false, they're not going to check the second one because there's no way that they can both be true if the first one is false, right? Um, okay. Oh, okay, still. Okay, now I'm getting some of the test cases correct. So let's see what's going on here. I'm curious which one I got correct. All right, it's only going to tell me the first two test cases, and I got 7 for both of them. So I'm wondering, let's see. So for that one, it should be 8. So did I forget to add one? Because I did put that in there. For this one, what am I doing? One, two, three, four, five, six. I really don't know where I got that from. Well, actually, it would be the same kind of issue, right? If I forgot to add the number there. Oh, yep. And I did. So this might actually solve the problem. I had that in the logic before, and then when I changed the variables, I no longer had it. Okay, got a working solution. I don't know if that was efficient, but I think I've had enough of this one. I'm not really going to play around with it looking for a more efficient solution, but I will come back and do another problem again. So thank you for watching, and I look forward to working my way up to medium problems instead of just beginner.